All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of Submission Radio Live. I'm Dennis Shkrad. I'm so excited for this episode. We've got some big things cooking for this one. Before I get into it, just want to quickly thank my sponsor here, Manscaped. You get 15% off this white hot lawnmower 5.0. Look how sexy it is. Yes, I'm talking about the lawnmower 5.0, not my next guest that I'm about to introduce, although he is sexy too. 15% off and free shipping today. Get this bad boy. You can use it in the shower. It's got an LED light. You can charge it. The charge lasts for a really long time. You can go to Manscaped right now and use that code word submission across all sorts of things. Boxes, the beard hedger. I love using the beard hedger for my beard and my face. There's a weed whacker for your nose. All sorts of great potions and lotions. Manscaped is the place to go. 15% off. Do it today. Also, Yo, I see, if you guys want to support me, I get messages about it. There's some great supporters out there. You can hit the join now button, join up today, become a member, you get priority shout outs and all sorts of other stuff. Most importantly, you keep the show going, which is really, really cool. And also, if you guys do have questions in the chat, please throw them throughout the show. Super chats get priority, also help out the show as well. So, I got Dave S. in the comments. Submission rate. Remember, big shout out to him. And speaking of shout outs, what about this next guest? You know him for being the man, the driving force behind MMA fighting, absolutely killing it with the BTL live watch alongs. Is there a live watch along this weekend? I think there should be. Mike Heck.
You're
gearing up for an early one.
You damn Skippy. You're damn Skippy. There's going to be a watch party, and it's going to be at 1:30 in the afternoon. I mean, this is like Christmas status. We only get these once a year where we get to do a watch party, be wrapped and packed. I can go to bed at like 10 o'clock Saturday night. It's terrific. So I'm very excited. That start time boosts up any one of these cards by a full point, even though this card is kind of middle of the road, if you know what I mean.
Hey man, it's a bit earlier. People can get to the main event, not have to stay up for it. Here in Australia, main card starts around, let's have a look. I think we're looking at about 5 a.m. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. So it is a little early for the Aussie fans. But again, this is one of those cards, Mike. I want to get your thoughts on it. The rest of the year looking kind of interesting. Ups and downs, right? Like, I think UFC 322 is a incredible card. It kind of goes back to the cards that we used to have where it's just delivering all the way through. I mean, when you go through this bad boy, I'm going to share the card for those that have missed the latest sort of version of it. Have a look at this beautiful card here. You got JDM and Islam in the main event that has massive implications for the future of the division, but also for the matchmaking in the UFC. Shevchenko and Wei Lee, that's going to be a massive fight. Sean Brady's like, man, let's do it. Me and Michael Morales. How good is that? Then you got Leon Edwards and Carlos Pradas, almost like a welterweight tournament happening on there. You got Bo Nickel. There's so many questions around Bo Nickel. What does the future have for him? So Beneil Dariush, BSD, are you kidding me? Like, where do you fit all this stuff? I haven't even really figured out what the prelim is, what the thing is. But, Mike, that seems like a card of old. But then when you look at some, and by the way, Hooker and Sarukian also, hot card, free card, fight of the night card.
Daytime card.
Bilal versus Ian Gary on that one. Man, hot fight. But then, yeah, you look through some of these other ones. And, of course, like, you and me will be covering them. And, Cape and Roybal, full credit. That should be a fun fight. And of course, like, I don't want to take anything away from Pantoja, Joshua Van. That should be a really fun fight. And Rab Yarn, that should be okay. And Henry Cejudo, Talbot, that'll be interesting. But, Bonfim versus Brown and Garcia versus Onama as a main event after, I think that's next weekend. Like, we are not cooking with the prime time names outside of a couple of these cards for the rest of the year.
Yeah, you just look at Tapology and like the main events, and you know that the Apex is back. Like you're like, oh, okay, no Apex, no Apex. Well, we're back. We're back these 2 weeks. You could just tell.
But not just back, like back times 20, like back real bad, bad.
Like Garcia Onama is like at least gonna be fun. So sure, but and that again is a 7 p.m. main card Eastern time. So like that's fine. And then even the Bond Fiend Randy Brown card, which is probably the second worst scheduled main event in UFC history. No disrespect to those fighters, but like, come on, let's just call it like we see it. It is behind Cynthia Calvillo and Jessica Eye. This is the second worst UFC scheduled main event of the modern era, and it just is.
Sometimes I do wonder, though, UFC 322, like I mentioned, incredible card, can't miss card, but you have so many blockbuster fights on there that are basically not going to get maybe the shine that they need. Can you not just move BSD and Beneil Dariush as the main event of one of these Apex cards? Can you not move? If we've got Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates, can we get Sean Brady and Michael Morales as a main event of one of the other ones? You know what I mean? Like, kind of feels like they jammed up MSG. There must be some backroom deal that we don't know about having to make this one extra special. But
Trump must be coming.
Yeah. Yeah, true. It's New York MSG, also a bit more expensive to sell, but we all know they'll have no problem selling it out. But dude, it does feel like they're holding out for next year and loading the deck. Do you imagine, Mike, that come next year, the Paramount deal, like we talk about that, a lot of the ranked guys aren't really as booked going into next year. Do you imagine the UFC are going to go hard body karate and go balls to the wall and try to bring out those big names and more fan-friendly cards? Or do you think, hey, this is just where we are in MMA these days? This is going to be weeks where we have some of these Apex cards and people just tune out of the sport and do something else.
Yeah, I think it's a little of column A and a little of column B. I think they're going to focus on the quote-unquote numbered cards. And I think for like the first 6 to 9 months, they'll throw everything they can at us. And then once we start getting comfortable, then it's going to be business as usual. It'll just be, okay, let's just throw a title fight on there somewhere. That could be a main event. And like the days of UFC 300 outside of the White House card, the UFC 300-ish cards are just like, we're never going to see those outside of like the one-offs. The White House will be stacked. There'll be whenever they go to Miami, they build that one up pretty good. And there'll be a couple like decent ones here and there, but yeah, like the 299, 300 back-to-backs, like I don't think we're getting those again anytime soon. Like we might get some star power in January with Taporia, but like, look at all the friggin' title fights we have going on in the next 4 months. Like what else? I mean, maybe Volk fights in February against, apparently he's going to fight Diego Lopez again in a fight that no one wants right now. So like,
dude, how cooked is that fight? That was one of the things I heard and I couldn't really reveal it. But if that's what happens, that is just,
it's tough, man.
That's not good for Diego Lopez either. Like I'm Lopez.
If he loses again, 2 title fights
I'm
in the rest of the year, he's
give
done.
me some breathing space, man. Like what? Like against Alex? Come on.
Go fight Aljamain Sterling. Like go fight him. Go fight Movsar again. Like there's fights for him. We don't need to go back. Go fight Yair.
Murphy's there though. Murphy's there. He's there.
Yeah, like
do the fight.
Sure. But again, like maybe that win over Pico will age terrifically, right? Like maybe it'll age great. And the knockout was incredible. And Pico probably would have got a title shot if he won. So I understand why there was so much excitement for Lerone Murphy getting a title shot after beating Aaron Pico. But at the same token, like Aaron Pico's been knocked out by Henry Corrales and many other guys that are ranked well below Lerone Murphy. So I think if they were going to do Lerone, I think Volk not fighting again this year just crushed his hopes, honestly. Like if they did it in December, because remember, like after Murphy won, it was, well, maybe we'll do Volk versus Lerone in December. And I think if Volk was ready to go in December, I think Murphy would have got his title shot. But now that the Sydney card's coming and they're certainly going to need Volkanovski for that card. Yeah. I don't know if Lerone sells as much as Diego's still kind of red hot right now. I don't know. I don't think
Diego sells tickets. Dude, listen, you know what it is? I was in Perth a few weeks ago and they had no one on that card and they still found a way to sell it out. Trust me, in Sydney, man, they could put you versus me in a bra and panties match in the main event and that would play. They'd find a way to sell that place out. And that's because no one would want to see it, But there you go. Like bra and panties in a pole match, Heck versus Shukurov, main event, 5 rounds. Come on. They'd sell that place out. So they should have put Volk in the December, but they're holding him off, man, for this next year Paramount thing. They don't care. One guy that said he's not fighting in February, though, in Sydney is Robert Whittaker. He went on the local show here on Fox Sports and spoke about how it's going to be too soon. He's having a baby, as am I, in a few weeks, and he needs a chance to focus up. It's good to hear Rob actually focus on not rushing back into the ring, because I know that he has for quite a few fights not been 100% when he fought, including the DDP fight and some other fights. That makes his return a little bit later. He's now saying he wants Sean Strickland potentially at the White House. Is he a guy that could fight Sean Strickland at the White House, Mike? Or
no, he's not. Unfortunately, Brendan Allen kind of ruined all hopes of that fight. So yeah, I don't know who Bobby Nux is going to fight, but it's not going to be Sean Strickland. It's not going to be anybody that is even remotely in the title picture right now. So yeah, Brendan Allen winning just kind of ruined the plans for good old Bobby Nux. So I don't know who he's going to fight. We'll see who like the red hot middleweight is at the time, but yeah, I don't think he's fighting at the White House. Maybe they do like another Baku or Saudi card, like May, June-ish. Like they love trotting Robert Whittaker out in Abu Dhabi, man. Like they love sending him out there. Wouldn't shock me if he went back there and fought somebody else, like on that card against maybe a Bo Nickel or somebody like that. If Bo beats Adolfo Vieira, I mean, it might be a little quick to get Bo back up the ranks, but somebody like that, I guess, someone that they're going to put it as a tester. But yeah, I don't think the Strickland fight's happening.
Isn't it crazy, man? Robert Whittaker ranked number 9. Insane stuff. Who would have thought?
Maybe Kaio. I don't hate Kaio Whittaker.
I love Kaio. That could have been a great. I actually thought that was going to be the good fight for Sydney in Feb. You know, him versus Kaio. That made a lot of sense. I think the Strickland thing, like you said, is out of reach a little bit. But if it's not Kaio, yeah, I don't know. I would have loved, like we spoke about this already, him versus Israel again, because both guys are towards the tail end of their career, and it's like, let's finish this off with a fun trilogy. Because when I look through this ranking, I don't know about you, Mike, but when I look through this ranking, there is basically no one for Israel to fight that I think he would have.
For Izzy? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I didn't think he wanted Strickland because he wanted to fix that. I think Strickland has no interest in it. The UFC are just going to give Strickland someone else. If he gets Hernandez or whatever, that's probably going to lead him to a title.
You do Strickland, Brendan Allen 2. Let's run that one back. And you do DDP versus Fluffy. Like that fight, DDP versus Fluffy just absolutely rocks. I'm sorry. Brendan Allen, like DDP's got to come back to a big one. I'm not saying Fluffy is like the most popular fighter on earth, but trust me when I tell you, there will be much bigger buzz for DDP versus Fluffy than there will be for DDP versus Brendan Allen. So there's at least a story with Brendan and Strickland. And, you know, I just think it's a more feasible fight. And I kind of wish Brendan went for Strickland as the lone call out, because I think like they would already been in the matchmaking room trying to put that fight together. So yeah, Brendan's got to take some time. Maybe get Sean Strickland, Brendan Allen at the White House. Who the hell knows?
Yeah. Isn't it funny how Izzy, big pay-per-view kind of star in that division, you know, champion. We love to watch him fight. It's just so weird for him to be in this position where there's basically nothing really makes that much sense for him, you know? And it's a time where we could use names like him fighting, but it's just like, well, you lost to Imavov. No one, and there's no like, you know, no one would be excited for a Hamzat fight because of the matchup style. And then like, you know, DDP he's lost to.
Yeah.
Do you do a DDP rematch? I don't even know if that would get. Yeah.
It's so I don't know, man. That's a tough sell like 5 years. Well, not 5 years from now, but that's tough sell like 2 years from now with how lopsided that fight was. And after seeing what Hamzat did, and it was dominant and impressive, but it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. So that's not like a fight that fans are clamoring to see run back unless DDP just goes on a rampage. He goes out and finishes Fluffy and then finishes Allen and then, you know, something like that when he becomes sort of undeniable. Yeah, maybe that's something we sort of look at. But I mean, Hamzat's already talked about going to 205 and all that ridiculousness. And So this thing could change in a heartbeat. But
this whole 205 thing.
Yeah,
the only fight I think that makes sense for Izzy, which I think could be cool for a pay-per-view for overseas somewhere like Abu Dhabi or Saudi, is maybe him versus Paulo Costa. I'd love to see that rematch, maybe.
I always forget that Costa is like just around there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I guess you could do that. I mean,
he doesn't want to fight MVP because Nikki V won't fight.
Now, why don't you? What if we did Izzy Kaio and we did Whitaker MVP? Whitaker MVP is pretty good.
He doesn't want to fight MVP either. He told me.
I mean,
no one wants to fight. Strangely, no one wants to fight MVP. I feel like it's because maybe he's moved up and they feel like there's so much to lose because he's such a strange fight. I don't know. Anyway,
why does he want to fight MVP? Just because like he doesn't think
Rob Whitaker? He said that he's a strange style matchup, and
so if they offer him MVP for like a main event in a big card, he's going to say no. I don't know.
Hard to tell because Rob never said no in his whole career. He had the worst matchmaking out of anyone in that division. He should have fought like Michael Bisping and GSP and all sorts of people. He never fought Anderson Silva. He never got any of the good fights. They made to fight Yoel Romero twice. So the guys had the worst match.
That man. That's tough.
He had fight Jacare when Jacare was still a killer. Like the guy was out there just doing the thing, man. I feel so bad for Rob. He kind of never really made the money that he needed to. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the division is kind of cooked.
Can I ask you about an idea that Jed and I had after UFC Vancouver?
Yeah, what do you have?
RDR moves to 205 and fights Dominic Reyes.
Yeah. Jed mentioned this. He was on one of the shows. What do you think? You like that?
I love it. I think it's terrific. I think he needs to move up. I know that he fought a whole bunch, but like that fight literally could not have gone worse for him. Like if Brandon Allen flash KO'd him in 12 seconds, that would not be as bad as what happened on Saturday. And I know it's the activity and cutting all that weight and all that stuff, but like him getting back to this position after essentially just not being able to answer the bell it's such a bad look for sort of the overall look of him right now that he is so far out of the title picture at this point. But if he goes up to 205 and beats Dominic Reyes, he's literally a win away from fighting for the light heavyweight title. So like, why hurt yourself? Why continuously cut that extra 20 pounds when he could walk around at 205 and beat a lot of these dudes? Like he could beat a good chunk of these 205ers right now. I think he's nuts if he goes back to 185. I really do. I think it's a terrible decision. So I like that. And I think Dominic Reyes is like the perfect opening fight for him because he could beat Dom. Maybe if Dom beats RDR, that brings sort of the comeback trail on for Dom. And if Dom loses and gets finished, like he's not going to get knocked out. He might get like strangled a little bit, but at least we're not going to feel terrible watching Dominic Reyes get knocked out for the 6th time in 10 fights, you know? So I think it's perfect matchmaking and a new chapter, so to speak, for RDR, who is probably have to win like 8 fights in a row before he gets another even sniff of the title right now.
8 fights, you reckon, because of the way things worked out, Mike?
It's so bad. It's such a bad look, man. Like it's such a bad look the way that all went down. And again,
and
like,
they resurfaced the video of him from 1.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a similar.
And that was always like, anytime I broke down an RDR fight, especially the Whitaker fight, I went back to that fight where I was like, listen, 5 rounds, like, I don't think he can do it. I just don't think he can keep up that pace against a guy like Rob Whitaker for 5 rounds. And he did it. And I was like, all right, maybe he's got it. And then this happened. And it's just such a bad look. And yeah, I know he wanted to go for that belt, but at the end of like, he is so lucky that Fluffy got hurt. Like, seriously. And I thought Fluffy was going to smash him anyways. But after watching that, like, Fluffy would have ate him alive. It would have looked worse than the Delize fight. And you cannot even take a deep breath against Fluffy or he will just see red and you're cooked. So yeah, he just go to 205. It's such a more wide open division for him to make a little bit of a run, and he won't hurt himself cutting that extra 20 pounds. So yeah, that's what I would do.
You guys put out the graphic on it. This is his message. This was a few hours ago. He was talking about how he was compromised. He wasn't, the best fighter that he could have been. He was 6 out of 10 as a fighter. He's going to take some time, focus on his family. And he admitted, he got sucked into a lot of the backroom stuff that we aren't really privy to, which is, significant amounts of money to fight regularly. I guess this was the time in his career to make some cash, and that title shot was there. So he wanted to capitalize it. So it's good to see him take some time. Hey, man, him versus Dominic Reyes isn't a bad idea. I do think Dominic Reyes should retire, but if he's going to stick around, maybe he should fight RDR. Because at least RDR is not like a knockout risk.
Yeah, he might knee him in the chest, but he's not going to knock him.
I didn't like what I saw from Reyes during fight week behind the scenes in Perth. I saw some stuff from him where I was like, I want to see this guy healthy and be able to play with his kids one day. But if he can find himself in some confidence, Reyes, and and not just freeze up out there and still kind of find his old self, then it would be good to. I don't know, man. There's something off with Reyes that week. It was all over the place. Yeah,
that's okay.
Anyway, and then I had a weird interview with him as well. I'm not going to get into it. So we got UFC 321 that's happening this weekend. You and me mentioned it. The main event, dude. This is one of the issues that we spoke about. The heavyweight division is just absolute trash. This is probably the worst it's been forever. You go through it and you just I know what it looks like, and when I screenshot this bad boy and put it up on the screen and go through it, it just seems worse every time I do it. It surprises me, and I know how bad it is. For people out there that don't know much about the division and what it looks like, let me just quickly give you a little look at what we're looking at here. I think this is probably the worst divisions ever looked. Even the Tim Sylvia days, we probably had more name value in here. We've obviously got Cyril Gane up at the top. It's good to see him back. And then we've got Volkov. And then after that, it's Blades, Almeida. The biggest name, without a doubt, and I know you're going to say it, is, Derek Lewis.
Let's go.
Number 8. And Tai Tuivasa is 11. I saw him in Perth. He's starting to get back in the gym. He's not even going to be back for a while.
Speaking of guys that hurts my feelings that's still fighting, that would be one of them. As much as I love Ty and his personality, dude is just, hopefully this rest has done something for him, because it just hurts my soul watching him get finished in the first round and every single fight he's in. It's tough, man.
Yeah, dude. And you know what it is? It's just the lifestyle and the training, the lack of it. But he was in the gym working with JDM's trainer, Ben Vickers, and his brother. It looks like he's getting into shape and taking it seriously. Good. It looks like he's understanding it's getting to the point where if he doesn't turn it around, this could be it for him. But he's still a while away. This is the worst the divisions looked.
Yeah, at least there's something at least going on this weekend in the heavyweight division. And I'm not talking about Hamdi Abdullahab and Chris Barnett, because much as that fight could be the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever, depending on which door it goes through. But at least we have a title fight. At least Tom Aspinall is fighting, and at least this division can somewhat move forward. I don't know if we're going to talk predictions of this fight. I'll save it, but he's fighting a guy who, is a dangerous dude. He's been an interim champion. He's been this close to being undisputed before. And then he got just the doors blown off him by John Jones. A lot of people feel like he shouldn't even be in this fight right now because he lost to Alexander Volkov. But this is the fight we're getting. And at least on the same card, we're getting a number 1 contender fight. Whoever wins in the Volkov Almeida fight is going to fight Tom Aspinall next. At least we have a little bit of a blueprint. It's not John as champion. We have an interim champion, and John's well, I want to fight Stipe. Okay, John, you could fight Stipe, who's coming off the couch after 5 years. At least the division has something that we can point to and say, all right, it's going to move forward this way. Now, from there, where do you go? Perhaps Derek Lewis can get another fight, get another win, and then we can start talking here. But yeah, Ante Delajah's got to go fight Walter Cortez Acosta. You have to slow Ante down, because I don't want Tom Aspinall just dumping off the belt because Ante's coming up. But at least we know what the next 2 title fights are going to be. So that's good. We have an idea.
We have an idea?
Yeah. Tom's fighting Cyril, and then whoever wins that fight, and I think I know who's going to, is going to fight the winner of Almeida and Volkov. So at least we know.
No, come on. No, come on.
Even Tom said it. Like, he's like, look,
I know he said it, but come on.
What else are they going to do?
We can't do that. Can we? Another Volkov fight?
Sure.
Volkov
Almeida. Huh?
I mean, maybe if Almeida wins, but Volkov
beat Cyril Gane in his last fight. Like, it's not officially that way, but there are like 2 people on planet Earth who thought Cyril Gane won that fight. Cyril Gane and Fernand Lopez. No one else on Earth thought Cyril won that fight. So, yeah. I mean, we saw Alexander Gustafsson get a title fight after getting knocked out. We could have thrown Volkov in there, do the right thing, because if the judges got it right that night, he'd be fighting Tom Aspinall on this card. So, all right, we just got to take a little exit into Cyril Gane town, and then, Almeida's interesting. Like, that's an interesting fight. If that goes to the ground, Almeida will strangle anybody in that division. So, yeah.
I think the Derek Lewis fight could be fun. It's just Tom has to not tell everyone he's going to just tackle Derek Lewis in the start of the first round. Build it up to seem like it's going to be.
At least Derek will hoss his way back up for a couple of times.
True. I feel like Derek is kind of the battler, the underdog, the guy that fans would love to see kind of get it done.
That's why I said
the everyman. There's a story there.
Yes, he's the 40-year-old guy. It's his last shot at a championship. Throw Tom in there. Like, the whole world could attest this. And I got so much shit for the Derek Lewis take, but let me tell you something. You would all watching this be way more excited about Tom Aspinall versus Derek Lewis going down on Saturday than you are for Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. And I understand why, but Derek Lewis would have gotten a media day. It would have been fun, and he'd probably push Tom Aspinall in the face off. Like, Derek would do a great job building this fight up. By the time we got to Saturday, we'd be like, wow, what if Derek does it? What if this man actually wins the heavyweight title? What a story that would be. Instead, we're getting Cyril fighting for the belt for the 3rd time. And at least, like, I will put the stakes hat on and say, if Cyril loses on Saturday, he's never fighting for the title again. So at least, like, we have that to think about. That's 3 friggin' undisputed title fights. Like, I know heavyweight's trash, but how many more title fights are they going to give this guy? I don't know.
It's because this is a new guy to the sport. He's had the most chances. He's got to have the most He had a chance against John Jones. He had a chance against Francis Ngannou. He had a chance, obviously, here. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just
insane stuff.
I mean, just look at the resume. Like, he'll be the only guy ever to fight Aspinall, Jones, and Ngannou. Like, the 3 generational quote unquote heavyweights. Like, since most people who are watching this became fans of the sport, like, these are the top 3 guys, and Gane's fought all of them. So I don't think I'm just going to say it right now. I think Tom is going to absolutely wreck Cyril Gane. This fight is going less than 2 minutes. I truly believe that at the bottom of my heart. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is more competitive. I hope there's a little bit of drama here. But I think Tom is just immediately going to put him on his back and just beat the ever-living brakes off of this man. And it's Tom saying all the right things to put Cyril over as a tough challenge, but this is not going to be close. I'm sorry. I wish it was.
Well, let me bring in another guest. And of course, you guys know she's back, absolutely killing it. I got to say, Mike, how impressive is everything she's able to do in the game? I remember I spoke to her like 10 years ago or something at one of the events that she was doing, and she's still doing it now. She's still absolutely dominating. Megan Olivi, welcome to Submission Radio. Good to have you on the program. You came at the exact perfect time.
It's my camera. I feel like my camera's being weird. My son's in the other room, so I'm trying to. There we go. Okay. You guys just tell me what I need to do. Thanks for having me.
You don't need to do nothing. We're happy to have you here. Hey, we're talking about the Gane Tom Aspinall main event that's coming up this weekend. Mike just broke down why he feels like it will be a very one-sided affair. Do you feel like Gane might have more of a chance that some people think he might come this weekend?
I mean, I definitely do, and maybe that's the UFC employee in me talking, but I definitely do, and I think Cyril Gane is somebody that we often underestimate in terms of his motivation and his work ethic in the gym. I think because he's often not so verbose about what he's doing to improve, that sometimes we don't necessarily take a hard look at that. I think that he really does want to become the UFC heavyweight champion. I think that fight against John Jones was something that, he has to live with. And I think it sits sourly with him. And so I can see this being competitive. He's very athletic. The thing that I love about this generation of heavyweights is their ability to move on the feet, their athleticism, their dynamic movement, and their fight IQ. It's oftentimes what we would see in those lighter weight classes years ago, where, kind of the old school heavyweights would say, oh, I wish I fought like, the bantamweights or the flyweights. And now we're actually seeing that being implemented. And so I am really interested in this matchup. Joseph and I were just talking about it the other day. My dog goes crazy. And we definitely both could see a world in which this is a very competitive fight, at least in our minds right now.
Well, I think it's a situation where everyone expects him to win. Ciryl Gane is that underdog spot. There's that expectation, Mike, that comes with it. We were trying to figure out the future of the division, Megan. What do you think is next for Tom? Mike, I'll get you to go first, actually, before Megan goes. Pereira, John Jones, do you think any of these guys are in Tom's future next?
I mean, definitely not John. I think that ship has sailed, and even Tom is living in that world. Like, media day today, he was getting John Jones questions, and he was just no selling at all, and that's exactly what he should be doing at this point. Pereira, I'm not ruling out. In fact, I kind of thought with everything Tom's gone through that instead of going Pereira Ankle Live 2, they just would have thrown Tom a bone and just given him the big fight. But I'll tell you right now, if Alex Pereira goes into the White House and beats John Jones, you better believe he's fighting Tom Aspinall. But for the meantime, I think it's more important than just thinking about the biggest matchups. The more important thing is just getting Tom fighting anyone. It does not matter. So, like I said, you may not agree, and it may not be like the greatest thing to look at poster-wise, but Volkov and Almeida are fighting. Whoever wins that fight should fight the winner of this fight, and at least we have semblance of order in this division, something we have not had since Francis was champion. When he fought Ciryl Gane, like, that was at least semblance of some order. We haven't had that in, 4 years? It's been so long since we've had, like, oh, we have a contender, and now the champion's going to fight this contender. Now we can have it back, Dennis. Like, we should be happy we're living in this world.
But Megan, isn't it weird, speaking of first, to be in a division where the biggest fight is not for the belt? Like, usually everyone is gunning for the belt. Usually everybody wants the champion. And here we have Tom Aspinall. He's ready to go. But we got the biggest names in Pereira and John Jones. Potentially, they won't be fighting for the belt next. It's so strange.
Yeah, it is really strange. And I mean, listen, you guys probably are more privy to what's going to happen with John Jones in the White House card than I even am. But I could definitely see a world in which Alex is also competing, for the heavyweight title there, because in our post-fight interview, immediately after he won the fight, I interviewed him in his locker room, and he was speaking about how, originally it was going to be a heavyweight call out, but because of the death of John Jones's brother, Arthur, he didn't feel like it was particularly good timing or in good taste to do something like that. And so, I think with a influential Aspinall win, a strong win, that's something where we could see Alex say, actually, I don't want to cut any more weight. And how about I move up? And I think we also get to the point in the UFC where, it's like, he's done so much for the organization. I could definitely see the powers that be saying, okay, well, your wish is our command, sort of, and allowing that move up to happen. And so it is so curious, heavyweight, because for so long we had so many big names and so many big matchups we were looking forward to, when you had guys like Kane and JDS and Frank Mir in that division. And now things are so different that hopefully with this card coming on Saturday, we can kind of see like a resurgence, start to see people get excited about names, potential matchups, and see, whether it is Tom or Ciryl Gane. I don't want to always just assume that it's going to be Tom. I think whoever becomes champion could start kind of building the excitement for that division once again.
Can you imagine if Gane wins it? What would even happen to the division then? All of a sudden, John Jones is ready to fight next week.
That's the thing is, like, I think we've all learned that in this game, crazy stuff can happen, and people are speaking as if, and Tom has gone through so much. I think, Mike, you had just said it. Like, Tom's gone through so much. Like, it's wild that he's finally fighting for the title, or he's finally the champion. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy if you were to write the timeline on paper, but we also can't. just assume that Cyril Gahn is not going to win because of what Tom's gone through.
Mike, tell Megan your heavyweight idea.
Oh, it should have been.
He's
Derek
got
Lewis.
this thing, Megan. He's been pushing it now for ages.
It should have been Derek Lewis from Jump Street. I'm sorry. Like, it's after Derek's last win and like they promoted Tom, and it's like, well, who am I going to fight? Let's just do the fun thing. Like, the ultimate fun championship. Like, can you imagine like I'm not saying people aren't like looking forward to this fight, but can you imagine like a Derek Lewis media day today and how we'd be feeling 72 hours before? The 40-year-old getting in there one last time. He's in shape. He's got abdominal muscles that show. Like, we haven't seen Derek Lewis fight for the belt with a six-pack. Six-pack Derek Lewis could be the different monster. He could have been the guy to slay the beast. And I just think you should have just done it. You should have just done it. Like, people just kind of have a sour taste in their mouth with Cyril because of the Volkov fight, especially with Dana saying that Volkov won. And if Dana thinks Volkov won, then the majority of the casual fan base are going to be like, yeah, Dana's right. Of course he did. So I understand why there's not like a ton of excitement here, but I was just like, just throw Derek in there, throw Gahn in there with like Almeida, and Volkov could just fight somebody else. Like, we could have done that. But we're here, and I'm just happy Tom's fighting. It's really what it comes down to. Tom is fighting on Saturday, and no matter who it is, we should all be excited for that.
Amen.
I love the work that you do, obviously, Megan. I love the interview that you did with Alex Pereira after that fight. You just referenced it. It was such a fantastic job. How do you actually feel like he would match up with Tom Aspinall? Because I feel like people overlook just how much Alex Pereira has improved. The takedown defense, the fact that he's a very unorthodox, tough striker to figure out. And there's that version of him that we saw against Uncle Ive, the actual prepared version that's not in Sydney doing side quests like a week out from the fight.
And not injured.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into these fights. And I think, how would they match up? I think Alex is a big boy. He still cuts quite a bit of weight, which is so crazy to think about what he was originally cutting when he came to the UFC. But I think like if this were a scenario where, okay, hey, I'm not one-offing here at heavyweight, I'm going to stay there and compete. I think that we could see him put on quite a bit more muscle. He's sturdy, he is athletic, but he's also, in my opinion, got such a great mentor in someone like Glover who can realistically assess the situation from both a athlete and coaching perspective and, give him the right guidance as to being successful wherever that may be. I mean, how many takedowns did he stuff in that first Ankalaev fight? What was it, 12 or something like that? 12 or 14? I think that it would be very interesting if he were given enough sufficient time to prepare for a heavyweight matchup. And I do think, we never really like when athletes already have like the next thing top of mind before they've even done, whatever it is immediately in front of them. But I do think that it's always been kind of in the forefront of his mind, that move all the way up to heavyweight. It's been talked about for a couple of fights now. And I do think he could be well prepared if given enough time. And I think he would look like a heavyweight. I really do. I don't think it'd be like, oh, look at this 205 or this 185er who moved up. I do think that he could immediately fit right into that division.
Yeah, he got a photo with Tyson Fury here in Melbourne, and they looked like they were the same size, and that was when he was fighting at middleweight. So let's see what he would look like at heavyweight, right? And I think there's nothing to lose anyway. He moves up, he loses. There's no shame in losing to one of the best heavyweight champions that we've had. Just quickly before I let you go, Megan, I want to get your take and yours as well, Mike, on another fight or two that you guys are most looking forward to this weekend. I'll go with you first, Megan. We got Dern. She's trying to actualize her potential as champion. We've got Uma. So much to show people on the return. What's going to happen next? Can he go out against that super tough Batista, who's been able to be sort of a bit of a momentum killer for a lot of big names? What is the fight that you're looking forward to, or one or two fights that you're looking forward to?
Okay, well, I love both of those fights. I love the rematch and the co-main event. I think there's been a lot of frustration, I think, sometimes that we don't see that belt being competed for quite often. Maybe not as often as other divisions or other weight classes belt is on the line. So I think that having a new level of activity, I think Weili has proven, hey, she's got to go up for a new challenge. So I love everything that's happening there. I'm really interested in seeing how the Umar fight versus Mario goes. I think Umar's fight with Merab, in my opinion, was maybe a little bit closer than people were giving it credit for. I'm interested to see in what he looks like, bouncing back from that. I love the Volkov Almeida fight. Nathaniel Wood. I'm very excited for this featherweight fight. Nathaniel Wood, I think, is such a talented fighter. We don't see him as often. And then against Delgado, I'm really looking forward to that one as well. But I think this is a sneaky good card. And we say that a lot of times about some of these recent cards. Maybe there's not a ton of name dominance that but I think there is on this one. Plus a lot of great up-and-comers, a lot of really great matchups. But I think having 2 belts at the top of it, particularly that strawweight title, is very interesting to me.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of questions answered. By the way, Mike, how good is Megan Olivi? I love the breakdowns. We need a whole Megan breakdown podcast. Let's just sit down. Let's get into it. The breakdowns are amazing. How's it feel to be back, Megan? Are you happy? You're back in motion. You're killing it. NFL and UFC.
Yeah, no,
crazy stuff.
It is crazy. Hence the espresso. I feel so lucky. Having our son was a lifelong dream and something that, took us a long time to be able to welcome him to this world. And so that is the biggest blessing that there is. But to be able to also continue to have two really awesome jobs is amazing. But the UFC is just home. Like when the first show back, everybody was just so excited. And all my colleagues just wanted to meet Vito, and everybody was so caring and making sure I was okay. Like, the NFL is this incredible global machine, and to know people tune in every Sunday to watch what we do is amazing. And then to come home to the UFC, it's more perfect than I could describe, to be a mom and to be able to land on my feet in a place where I feel so welcome to do what I also do best. While being a mom is I couldn't ask for more. So it's been great. And the fans have been great. My mom brain is slowly fading, but it's taken a while. So it's still a little fuzzy, but we're getting there.
Well, you couldn't tell. You're absolutely killing it, Megan Olivi. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for a lot of insight and a good breakdown here, of course. And can't wait to see. When are you back in action? Is UFC 322? Is that going to be the?
Oh yeah.
Man, is that going to be a card?
Oh my God. I feel like I always say this, but as somebody who grew up going to Madison Square Garden, I feel like the ghosts of MSG come out when we bring the octagon there. I feel like there's constantly some sort of influence, from another realm, bringing in these great performances, these storied fights, these epic nights. There is nothing like a fight night at the Garden, and I absolutely cannot wait to be back for that one.
I can't wait to watch you do your thing. There she is, Megan Olivi. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us here on the program. All right, dude. Isn't she the best? Isn't she the best, bro?
Absolutely.
Very underrated. Because
underrated. She should be. She's like at the top of the mountain when it comes to this stuff. Like she's so well prepared. It's so natural to her. It's really impressive to watch her do her thing on television. Really is.
People don't understand what she does is so tricky. You and me have been around the game for a while now, and we've seen her do it for so long. The preparation that she has to have. And people don't know, during fight week, she's doing the whole thing. The Q&A open workout thing, the thing. And then she's got to do doing all the meetings. I feel like she's kind of an unofficial locker room leader in the team now because of the tenure and the work that she's had. So congratulations. And I love the way that she brings an energy, I feel, to the events. And also 100%. The NFL thing. Are you kidding me? God, man.
Yeah, she's a machine.
What a career.
It's impressive.
Absolutely killing it. Congratulations to. All right, dude, before we wrap up, all right, so we got Aspinall, we got Gunn. I just want to quickly get your take on, I mentioned it before, Umar. Are we anticipating Umar to come out here and put on a performance return against Batista and then line up a potential Merab fight for next year? Do you think this is what's going down? Or is it a situation where Batista is so tough that it's hard to look good against him? Even in a winning effort, he's a tricky guy to beat.
I mean, I am vastly intrigued by this fight because I don't know what Mario Batista is just yet. I really don't. like he could be great, but I don't know. Cause I mean, if we really look at the win streak, the Jose Aldo fight, like, I don't think he won that fight. I really don't, but it is what it is. And I think people know how I feel about Jose Aldo. So there'll always be a piece of me that like broke in that fight. Yes, he beat Patchy Mix, but after watching Patchy's last fight, like how well is that going to age? I don't really know, but he is a very solid bantamweight. Like I compare him to Tim Duncan of the Spurs. Like, you know, he's not going to do a 360 dunk, but he'll lay the ball right into the hoop. So like, I think it's better for the division right now if Mario wins, because we need some fresh matchups. And there is, and this is maybe the spiciest take I've had. Some people don't agree, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think if Merab fought Umar 100 times, Merab wins 99 of them. I don't think Umar could beat Merab. I really don't.
Adjustments after being in there with Merab? No.
He got 50% Merab that night. Like, people forget what was going on with Merab heading into that fight. He was dinged up. He was on a fast turnaround. He wanted to fight in like March or April. He came back so soon to just be like, all right, I'm going to shut this fool up. Like, if it was up to him, you think he was fighting Umar in January? Hell no. He would have waited. And sure, and then I know Umar got hurt in the fight, but Merab was like banged up, like getting to the fight. And Merab still found a way to beat that guy. The guy that was the boogeyman of this division. No one's beating this guy. Not even the great Merab Dvalishvili. And he got put in a position where he got Merab at his worst. I mean, you've talked to John Wood about it, and John's even said like that was like the worst Merab we've seen out there. And Merab still found a way to win. I just don't see a world where Umar can beat him. So Umar will be the champion someday, without question. That man is going to hold that title, but he ain't beating Merab to do it. The only man that's beating Merab to do it is Merab himself when he says, you know what? I'm done with bantamweight. I'm going to 145 or I'm just done fighting. He's 36. He ain't going to be around forever. I know he says he's going to fight till he's 50. He ain't fighting till he's 50. But there's got to be a time where he's bored with this division. He's going to want a new challenge. And then Umar can step in and fight whoever and be the champion. But right now, at least anytime soon, unless Merab is literally 50, Umar ain't beating him. So I have no interest in that fight right this second. I truly don't.
He wants to fight 5 times next year, so we're going to have to go through the division a few times. We got the 8 fight wins. Merab, yeah, he wants to fight 5 times next year. So that's funny because, by the way, lazy bet, 8 fight win streak experience, and at that kind of plus money, you can't.
Oh, I'm betting on Mario. I'm definitely betting on Mario.
And we've got Dave submission, but as long as Murray doesn't get caught up in Nurmagomedov's up, I think he can win. It will win. So now that it will be a very fascinating fight there. But yeah, Merab wants to fight like 5 times. I think like it's probably going to be him and Pantoja at some point next year, right? And then because he wants to stay active, he'll have to maybe accept Pantoja moving up if he gets through Van. And the unfortunate thing is we only have Alex Volkanovski for this much time. And I think for Volkanovski, there are other contenders and people to fight.
Sure, but if they make him fight Diego Lopez again, like, what are we doing here? Like,
I know that fight sucks, man. Come on, guys, get it together. Anyway, hey, as we wrap up, big week at MMA fighting as usual. I loved the combo interview that you did with Bruce Buffer and Dustin Poirier. It was really, really cool. Very different, 2 huge personalities. Make sure to go check that out. You know what? I'll throw the link for that below in the description so everybody can get a chance to watch it. But what is happening this week, Mike? You guys doing the live watch along? There's the people's pre-show,
9:30, 9:15 in the morning on Saturday. I'm very excited for that. We'll have a preview show on Friday as well. I did speak to the great John Anik. It was about 35 minutes of a chat. We talked all things 321. We talk Ilia Toporia's next move. We talk all sorts of fun stuff. It's been a while since John and I have linked up. We used to talk before every single pay-per-view, but the man's busy. And
he's so busy. And I feel bad because we're always getting him on for these chats. And sometimes he's just trying to be nice and do it. But
yeah, I always tell John that, like, if I hit you up and like you can't do it, like you don't even have to say like I can't do it. Just don't say anything. Then I know like you can't do it, and I won't be that dude that just bugs you every 3 days until you respond. Like I'm just like, all right, he ain't ready. He can't do this right now. So, so that's coming. Yeah, It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a fun one. Look, I know I kind of dumped on this card a little bit, and I know it's not going to do like a ton of pay-per-view buys, but it's got to be a fun one. Like once we get to Mateusz Rebecki versus Ludwig Klein, like we are cooking with gasoline, my friends. It's going to be really, really fun. Rebecki Klein is going to friggin' slap. I cannot wait for that fight. There's going to be blood. There's going to be bruises. Someone's eye's going to get swollen shut, probably Rebecki. And then we get the Iron Turtle versus Ikram Aliskerov. Like, inject that. Nasrat Hakparas and killing Sal Kill. Good grief. What a fight that is. And that came together in like 2 weeks' notice. And then it's all the fun stuff. And yeah, Mackenzie Dern needs to win. The UFC is hopeful. They're praying. They hope that it happins.
God, they're praying. I saw someone was asking her about her squats at the press conference. It's all getting set up, my friend.
Yeah.
They need Mackenzie Dern run. Hey, man, she's got people to support. All right, well, there it is. MMA fighting. Mike Heck, one of the best in the building. Thanks for joining me, my friend. And I will catch you guys next time for more Submission Radio. Big weekend of fights. Let's do it. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.